Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8 p.m. on LA56.
Twice the trouble for Southern California today. First the heat wave, now severe thunderstorms with heavy rain and lightning.
Caught in a hurricane and stranded in Mexico tonight, 4 Southern Californians describe their dangerous trek back home.
And local company SpaceX celebrating a big announcement from NASA, how it'll help deliver astronauts to the International Space Station. Good evening. I'm Mark Brown, in for David Ona.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. Welcome to Eyewitness News on LA56. What started off as a hot day in Riverside County turned wet in a hurry. A strong thunderstorm moved through at about 1 o'clock, flooding streets and neighborhood in Wildomar, and it started with a bang.
Storm chaser Will Wilkins was setting up in the Temescal Valley area waiting for the coming storm when this happened. Take another look in slow motion as the electric bolt suddenly strikes the ground and the sudden shock waves rocks his car. And more incredible video from viewer Carlos Lenzama. He captured this tornado from his front porch in Victorville as he was shooting toward the Wrightwood area. You can clearly see the white tornado as it tears across the ground, kicking up dust. There were no reports of damage from this twister. And this viewer video looks like a hurricane sweeping down the street in the Wildomar area. You can see how the wind is whipping the trees and even sends large trash barrels shooting down the street. More incredible video when a sudden storm hit the Big Bear Lake area. You can see the giant raindrops hitting all the boats tied up in the marina. In this video from Air 7, you can see cars and trucks navigating flooded streets in Wildomar. Lake Elsinore High School was swamped by the sudden downpour. Athletic fields were flooded and some signs torn down by the track, but damage was also severe inside the school gym. Just take a look at this picture from Crystal Stiltner-Badham, posted to dailysocal.com. You can see right here the gym floor is completely flooded and might have to be replaced.
Today's stormy weather comes as Southern California endures another day of extreme heat. We have live team coverage. Meteorologist Jonathan Novak tells us how much longer it'll persist. First we go to Alex Michelson live in Encino, where the temperature right now is 92. Alex.
It is a very warm evening, Mark. It is bearable for those that have air conditioning, but it's a very tough and could be a long night if you don't. Right now, DWP says 3,400 people are without power. Southern California Edison says 6,400 customers without power, 5,000 of them in LA County. Let's take a live look from Air 7 HD. They are not far from where we are here in Encino. You can see a neighborhood right now that is without power. Crews have told people there that could go all the way until 7 o'clock in the morning, not what people want to hear.
DWP set a record today for power demand. Thousands were left without power and without air conditioning as temperatures soared well above the triple digits in some places.
Gatorade, water, grapes. Stay hydrated.
It felt like 120 degrees inside this food truck.
It's the opposite in there. People think that we have air conditioning in there, but it's actually the opposite.
There should be no running or playing basketball. Today's the hottest day that we've had.
No playing sports in Fountain Valley. 9 out of 10 schools in the district there don't have air conditioning.
You can tell by the end of the day as they're walking out of the office, but it does wear on them, and certainly students as well.
Yeah, tough day for students there. They're actually debating putting a ballot measure on the next ballot to try to get funding to get air conditioning in the Fountain Valley School District. That's not going to give them much relief, though, tomorrow. As for all the people that don't have power, DWP, Southern California Edison, working throughout the night. You just saw some of that work live from Air 7 HD. But power in some areas could be out until the morning. Reporting live, Alex Michelson, ABC7, Eyewitness News.
All right, Alex, thank you. A restless night for a lot of people there. Well, we hear the warnings all the time. Don't leave pets in cars in this kind of weather, but some people still do it. Case in point, this little dog left in a minivan in Valencia while her owner went shopping. The window was cracked a little bit, but it was 93 degrees out and obviously much hotter in the van. Fortunately, a good Samaritan saw it and called 911. A sheriff's deputy was able to unlock the door, get the dog out, and put it in the air-conditioned patrol car to cool off until the owner showed up. The owner said she didn't realize how hot it was.
It was still the morning, and we just were dropping my daughter off at school.
Right.
And so we were just going to pop in really quick and come back. So, no, normally I don't leave my dog in my car.
Fortunately, the dog appeared to be okay. It was returned to the owner. However, she was cited for misdemeanor animal cruelty.
Well, you know, we talk about it all the time. Don't leave your dog in a hot car. Don't leave your dog anywhere you wouldn't yourself sit. But people still need to get the message. Jonathan Novak is here talking about the heat and the storms today.
Heat,
Jonathan.
storms, Mother Nature brought her whole tool belt today. And yeah, just a quick footnote on that. We showed you that last night. A car heats up to 120 within about 15 minutes or so, leaving it closed. So the heat today for some of you was all that was on your mind. For the rest, well, some showers and storms and some hail, severe weather. Here's that storm going back 6 hours around Lake Elsinore. Things are calm and dry now, but wow, you guys had to put up with some heavy downpours, hail, strong winds, a little bit of damage in your area as well. We were just watching some of that video from earlier. There was even some storm activity around Big Bear, Crestline, Mount Baldy, Wrightwood. It is dry except for a few showers that are still hanging tough around Lancaster and Acton, which saw a storm roll through earlier today as well. So we did have some showers in the forecast. I saw some more additional moisture and instability move into the IE. It was a little unexpected, but now, as we look ahead, I have good news. I have good news and good news. Temperatures like this are going to start going away from the forecast. It's 103. That was our high today in downtown. We tied a record. Tomorrow morning, still a warm one, hot one by noontime, 92. I'll tell you when it cools down, and more on the rain coming up in a few minutes.
Okay, Jonathan, thanks. See you in a few. Tonight we're hearing from Southern Californians who were caught in Hurricane Odile and are just now arriving back in the U.S. 3 days after the storm. It was a Category 3 when it made landfall near the resort city of Cabo San Lucas Sunday night, damaging everything from huts to major hotels. An estimated 30,000 tourists have been staying in temporary shelters. 4 Southern Californians arrived in San Diego today. They say the hotel staff in Cabo had abandoned them and they had to hitchhike to the airport.
We got onto a plane, had a 2-hour flight to TJ, and then when we landed there, they put us into trucks and they drove us to the border all the way up as close as they could. And then we walked through the border, got a taxi, and decided to come here.
The Mexican government says it is sending military and commercial planes to evacuate thousands of stranded tourists. Well, if you're looking for the very latest forecasts, weather alerts, and more, look no further than your smartphone. Our free Mega Doppler weather app is available in the App Store and Google Play. Just search Mega Doppler.
Also tonight, U.S. defense leaders spent the day trying to persuade Congress to fund the Obama administration's strategy in Iraq. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel and Joint Chiefs General Martin Dempsey testified that the fight against ISIS will be long and complicated. As ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports, we also heard some candid comments about U.S. ground troops.
America's top military leaders on Capitol Hill today, outlining President Obama's plan to combat the militant Islamist group ISIS. Joint Chiefs Chairman General Martin Dempsey telling the Senate Armed Services Committee he is open to the possibility of U.S. ground forces fighting alongside the Iraqi military.
There is no intention for them to do so. I've mentioned, though, that if I found that circumstance evolving, that I would, of course, change my recommendation.
With ISIS beheading 2 Americans and 1 British aid worker and threatening to kill another of its 5 Western hostages, military officials say beyond expanding airstrikes, more needs to be done to stop this terror group. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel urging Congress to fund President Obama's plan to train and arm Syrian opposition forces and Iraq's military.
This will not be an easy or a brief effort. It is complicated. We're at war with ISIL as we are with al-Qaeda.
Speaker of the House John Boehner saying he believes the president's strategy is sound, but may not go far enough.
If our goal here is to destroy ISIL, we've got to do more than train a few folks in Syria and train a few folks in Iraq and dropping bombs.
And again today, a White House spokesperson reiterated that President Obama will not send troops into combat, despite General Dempsey's comments. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, New York.
President Obama is ramping up the American role in battling Ebola. The president flew to Atlanta, Georgia today, where he visited the Centers for Disease Control. The president is ordering 3,000 U.S. military personnel to West Africa to set up treatment and isolation facilities. They'll also be training healthcare workers there.
If the outbreak is not stopped now, we could be looking at hundreds of thousands of people infected with profound political and economic and security implications for all of us.
The Americans will set up a command center in Liberia to coordinate U.S. and international relief efforts. However, the White House says U.S. troops will not provide direct care to Ebola patients.
The NFL Players Union is appealing Ray Rice's indefinite suspension from the NFL for domestic violence. Rice was originally given a 2-day suspension in July for the February assault of his then-fiancée in a casino elevator. After new video surfaced of the incident and the Baltimore Ravens fired Rice, the league suspended him indefinitely. The NFL has hired former FBI Director Robert Mueller to look into how the NFL handled the matter. A jury finds an LA County Sheriff's deputy guilty of conspiracy and obstruction of justice charges. James Sexton's first trial ended in May with a deadlock. Today, the jury found Sexton guilty of trying to impede a federal investigation into deputy on inmate violence in county jails. Prosecutors say he helped to hide the inmate turned jailhouse informant by altering computer records when federal officials wanted to question the inmate in 2011. Sexton's co-defendants, all former deputies, were convicted in July and face sentencing on Monday. 13 other deputies are awaiting trial in February.
Bicyclists have a new layer of protection when traveling on California roads. Drivers are now being fined for not keeping enough space when passing. The 3 feet for safety law requires drivers to keep 3 feet between their vehicle and any cyclist. Supporters say the law is necessary to protect bike riders. In 2012, more than 150 bicyclists were killed in accidents involving motor vehicles in California. The penalties for breaking the 3-foot law vary from county to county, but the first offense could cost a driver anywhere from $100 to $200.
Another big story today, NASA has made a big decision on the future of space travel. It picked Hawthorne-based SpaceX and Boeing to transport astronauts to the International Space Station. Eyewitness News reporter Alex Michelson takes a look at what it means for the company.
Today's announcement sets the stage for what promises to be the most ambitious and exciting chapter in the history of NASA and human spaceflight.
NASA's administrator announces that American companies Boeing and SpaceX will split a nearly $7 billion contract to transport American astronauts from Cape Canaveral to the International Space Station. Ever since NASA turned the Space Shuttle program into museum pieces, America has paid Russia $70 million per astronaut per ride to the space station.
From day one, the Obama administration has made it very clear that the greatest nation on Earth should not be dependent on any other nation to get into space.
Boeing will receive more than $4 billion to use its CST-100 capsule. The company says it's honored to be chosen. Hawthorne-based SpaceX is getting more than $2 billion for its Dragon 2. SpaceX founder Elon Musk says winning the contract is, quote, a vital step in a journey that will ultimately take us to the stars and make humanity a multi-planet species. We were on hand in May as the capsule was revealed.
We're actually inside the actual capsule that will go into space. It has room for 7 astronauts.
The capsule is designed to land on land using its own thrusters. At the home of the Endeavor, the California Science Center and Expedition Park, visitors we talked with are excited that Americans will once again be flying on American spaceships.
Kennedy started us in this direction, and we are still going in this direction.
Angel Kennedy worked on the shuttle program in the 1970s in Downey.
I'm proud of it. Proud to see it coming back to the United States.
Boeing hopes to have its first test flights launched by 2017. Reporting from the Science Center and Expedition Park, Alex Michelson, ABC7, Eyewitness News.
Up next here at 8 o'clock, will criminal charges be filed against NASCAR driver Tony Stewart for hitting and killing a fellow driver on the track? New details tonight.
Plus, growing controversy over Team Columbia's unusual cycling uniforms. Tonight, how the International Cycling Union is responding.
And Huntington Park police chased down what they first believed to be an alligator. We'll tell you what this thing really is coming up. The Tony Stewart case has gone to a grand jury in upstate New York. Stewart is a NASCAR driver who hit and killed driver Kevin Ward Jr. with his car during a race back in August. Ward was out of his car and on the track, apparently to confront Stewart over an earlier altercation in the race. The local sheriff has said there was no evidence indicating criminal intent, but after reviewing the evidence, the DA decided to present the case to the grand jury, which will decide if charges will be filed. Stewart issued a statement promising full cooperation.
Controversy in the cycling world. The president of the International Cycling Union says a flesh-colored uniform worn by members of Colombia's women's cycling team is unacceptable. Pictures from the uniform are circulating on social media, and that has led to a backlash. This image shows the team wearing the uniform, but we've covered up the flesh-colored section that the cycling union calls indecent. The uniforms were worn at an Italian race over the weekend.
All right, Jonathan Novak is here now, taking a look at the heat and the storms that we're having.
We had it all. What didn't we have today? We had hail, we had winds, we had rain, we had heat, we had record-breaking temperatures, even Lake Elsinore, with that severe storm rolling through, broke a record for today, 0.13 inches of rain, set a new record. Wow. So, for a one-day rainfall total. There's that storm. This was around 2 o'clock. I'm bringing you back 6 hours. Things are calm now, and it looks like they're going to stay calm for the extended period of the forecast, although there's still some shower activity going up around Lancaster. Things have dried out around Big Bear. We had some storms fire up through into the Antelope Valley, and again, right around Lancaster, things are just about to be completely dry with the last of a couple of readings, some echoes showing up on that live Megadoppler 7000 HD. So let's get to it. Ooh, this is nice. Angeles National Forest, time-lapse from earlier. Let's look at something pretty. Mother Nature, yeah, she can bring it, but she can also bring some beautiful sights like this. This was about 4 p.m., 3 p.m., and some of the raindrops coming down. Nice shot there. None of that left in the forecast. We're looking at the temperatures. It is going to be hot again, I know, but we're almost there. These are today's highs. Riverside, and this is very interesting, 111. Woodland Hills, 108. Pasadena, 106. Palm Springs, the cool spot, at 104 today for your high temperature. That's when you know it's hot. 86 in Long Beach right now. Riverside at 86, kind of cooled down from the rain that we had earlier down to the south, so that's nice. And tomorrow we're going to bump the temperatures back up. Now, it won't be as hot as it was today, but still, it's going to be a hot one. Right now, it's 91 in Burbank and Van Nuys, 88 Palmdale, 97 over there in Palm Springs, 70 at the coast in around Oxnard. And then we head to the watches and warnings page. This right here is the last of the red flag warning. It expires at 9 p.m., and this is the last of the flash flood watch. That's going to go through actually Thursday, but it's way off to the east of us, so we're not looking at that in our area. So things will be improving, the pattern's changing. This is all that moisture associated with what was left of Odile. Actually, it's starting to die out. Now, we got some of that pushed into our area today, and it played out in the IE. We were thinking of maybe on the mountains, but it got shoved west enough that we saw some of that instability over the IE. We have high pressure still keeping us warm tomorrow, but this area, a low pressure. Let me clear that off the screen here for you, if I can. My computer wants to cooperate. There we go. That's low pressure, folks. The computer just doesn't know it. That's low pressure right here, this big trough, and that's going to be digging in and bringing us an onshore flow. That really kicks in on Thursday and Friday, and that's going to mean, as you see here in the future scan, Thursday, Friday, that pushes in. That means high pressure is out of the game. That means temperatures are dropping, and it means the marine layer is thickening up, and it's going to be cooler. It's going to be much better. But until then, one more day. Look at the lows tomorrow, 70s for just about everybody, above average, and your highs tomorrow, 94 in LA, and your 7-day forecast for LA Metro and Orange County, but a big tumble in the temps on Thursday, 83 down to the 70s on Friday. A warm weekend, and unfortunately, I got to tell you, it looks like another potential heat wave next week. Until then, you got some cooler weather from Thursday through Sunday here. The Valley's IE, one more day of triple digits, no rain for you. Maybe some marine layer clouds pushing in on Thursday and Friday, though. The mountains, I will give you a 30% chance. Maybe another shower tomorrow, maybe another storm. Temperatures around 70 on Thursday. A nice weekend ahead. The high desert, mainly just some afternoon clouds. Temperatures cooling down into the 80s by Thursday. So, guys, just get through one more day, and things are going to get back to normal for a little while.
We will do our best. Jonathan, thank you.
You're welcome.
It's scaly and a bit frightening, and it's been slithering around one Southern California neighborhood. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes caught up with a woman who had a close encounter with the most unusual creature.
As if yesterday's sweltering heat didn't have enough bite to it, Huntington Park's Trini Nolasco found herself face-to-face with this.
I was so scared. I see, oh my God, what is that? I ran away inside and called the 911.
Her call landed here at the Huntington Park Police Department.
The original call was that there was an alligator in somebody's yard.
Now, a call like that may spark memories of this guy, Reggie the Alligator. Reggie captured the hearts of Angelenos back in 2007 when he was caught swimming in a Harbor City lake. He now calls the LA Zoo home. But this guy, nah, he's no gator.
He is a savanna monitor.
Usual home? Africa. After a Huntington Park police officer snagged the monitor with this animal control noose, he was brought here to LA County's Carson Animal Shelter, where Dr. Kyle Lucero gave him the once-over. His theory, that lizard on the lam.
It's probably owned, considering it's very tame. These guys are notorious for escaping their cages.
The big question now, who owns this big lizard? And if that question goes unanswered, it leads to another big question. You want a big lizard?
If nobody claims it, then we'll have it up for adoption for the public.
But one person who won't be adopting the 3-foot-long lizard? Yep, Trini Nolasco.
No.
In Huntington Park, Rob Hayes, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Wow, my son would love that.
Might want to get on the list.
Oh, my goodness. Well, up next, the star from TV's F Troop gets a star on the Walk of Fame.
Plus, kids facing severe medical issues get a visit from some familiar faces.
And a police officer being called a hero after putting his squad car and himself in the middle of a dangerous pursuit.
Some famous faces brought smiles to some of those who need them most today. Actors and sports celebrities stopped by Harbor UCLA Medical Center in Torrance to meet with pediatric patients. Many of the children are being treated for life-threatening illnesses. They chatted with them, posed for pictures, and did a few craft projects also. The celebrities even handed out gifts. Today was the inaugural Stars for Smiles event. The city of Pasadena will be a host town for the Special Olympics World Games Los Angeles in 2015. The city officially made the announcement today to participate in the program from July 21st to July 24th. Pasadena will welcome thousands of athletes from nearly 200 countries. The city will introduce the athletes to community members and help familiarize them with Pasadena's cultural activities. The athletes will also be able to use the area's facilities to practice and train for the games.
Hollywood has the Walk of Fame, Palm Springs has the Walk of Stars, and today there is a new star. Actor-comedian Larry Stork received the honor along the walk today. A dedication ceremony was held where a star was revealed. As soon as Stork saw the star, he immediately started cleaning it. Stork has appeared on many TV shows, including F Troop, as well as stage production.
Very nice looking star.
Yes.
We are updating the evening's top stories next at 8:30, including the latest on our relentless heat wave.
Plus an update on severe flooding in the Inland Empire, which areas were hardest hit.
And a Northern California town asked for help after a wildfire torched 150 homes, businesses, and other structures. Stay with us.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 8:30 p.m. on LA56.
Our top story at 8:30, rain, lightning, and flash flooding. Wild weather sweeps through parts of the Inland Empire. I'm Mark Brown, in for David Ono.
And I'm Colleen Sullivan. What a scene today in Wildomar. A big thunderstorm dumped heavy rains, triggering dangerous flash floods. Some drivers are stuck in mud. Other drivers had to navigate through as much as a foot of water.
Also, another day of intense heat across Southern California, made worse by those who were suffering without power. Utility crews were working today to restore power to more than 6,000 customers in LA County alone. Even though demand is high, there's plenty of supply. However, the overhead equipment and underground transformers are getting hot, and they didn't get a chance to cool down at night. Crews say in these conditions, sometimes they just stop working.
And let's go to meteorologist Jonathan Novak to find out when we are going to see any relief. Jonathan?
For some of us, the rain today, albeit a strong storm that rolled through Lake Elsinore, did bring some rain relief. Unfortunately, you had to get through some rough weather around Lake Elsinore, where you had a record day in terms of rainfall totals. 0.13 almost tripled the daily record for rain back in 1989. And on top of that, hail. You had strong wind, you had damage, you had some flooding, and it was a rough one for at least a couple of hours. That was earlier this afternoon. I'm bringing you back 6 hours right now on this live Mega Doppler 7000 HD animation. Even some rain around the mountain areas. Big Bear, which was expected, around Wrightwood and up into the Antelope Valley. We had that slight risk in there for today. And the last of the shower activity fizzling out, so to speak, around Palmdale up there in the high desert. So, for tonight, we're going to see things pretty much stay warm. Not like this, not like temperatures we saw today. It was 103 in downtown. And yes, that was a record we tied. Normally we'd be at 83. We're going to start working our way back down to average over the next couple of days. For tonight, though, still kind of a warm one. 88 in Fullerton and Ontario, 91 Van Nuys, and 92 in Ojai. Most of us in the inland areas were actually warmer than Palm Springs in the IE. If you want to cool down from the rain and up to the valleys, you were much warmer than even Palm Springs. Tomorrow, 92 by noontime, another hot one, but things start cooling down soon. I'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Okay, want to hear about that. I hear about the cool down, Jonathan. Yeah. Thanks. Well, stay up to date on the extreme weather wherever you are. Remember, you can get the latest temperatures with our Mega Doppler weather app. Download it for free in the App Store or Google Play. Just search all one word, Mega Doppler.
Evacuation orders remain in effect in the Northern California town of Weed, where a wind-driven fire has already destroyed or damaged 100 homes, but calmer winds are now aiding firefighters. Reporter Wayne Friedman caught up with residents of a town devastated by the fire that has so far scorched 375 acres and is now 20% contained.
Just one day ago, this was a neighborhood. The town of Weed was whole. Not anymore.
That one there was Gary Ghetto. This one here was Robles.
His name is Travis Starling. He's one of the lucky ones tonight in Weed, where a wildfire roared out of the nearby trees and took 150 homes, businesses, and structures. The word devastation, neither strong nor descriptive enough.
No, it was crazy. It was like apocalypse now. It's like ashes and crap blowing in the air.
There's usually something left. There's nothing left.
Not in the fire's path, anyway. Residents say it moved a mile in less than half an hour, driven by high winds. Too much, too fast, says CAL FIRE. The drought that took the snow from Mount Shasta also helped to take this town.
It is a worst-case scenario. Everything was aligned, unfortunately, yesterday.
Nothing left of this church but a sign. At another across the street, only the bell where it fell. In a town of roughly 3,000 people, 2/3 of them remain evacuated.
It's just awful. Just awful to know it's your neighbors. They have no home. How scared everybody is. We don't know if anybody was, perished in the fire. You don't know. But Weed is a strong community. We will pull together and put our town back together.
From the ashes, in Weed, Wayne Friedman, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The state of California is taking action, hoping to reserve groundwater supplies during the drought. Groundwater pumping will now be regulated thanks to legislation signed today by Governor Brown. In the past, people were able to pump as much groundwater as they wanted. The legislation signed today calls for local authorities to manage groundwater extraction and prevent excessive water use. Some farming groups oppose the restrictions. They say they're already struggling with water shortages.
A pair of Riverside women are arrested accused of posing as housekeepers and then burglarizing homes throughout Orange County. Now investigators are trying to determine if they're responsible for similar incidents throughout Southern California. Last week, police released surveillance video of two women knocking on several doors, posing as maids seeking work. If the homes were unoccupied, the women would call over 3 men who would ransack the home. Police say they've arrested a juvenile they believe is the person seen in this surveillance video taking a woman's purse in Thousand Oaks. Detectives say he was taken into custody this afternoon and arrested after being questioned. They believe he's also responsible for robbing a 17-year-old girl in a parking lot. Police say the suspect is under the age of 18, but will not say how old.
A group of sexual assault survivors presented a petition in Sacramento calling for the governor to adopt a uniform standard for handling rapes on college campuses. USC and 3 other schools are being investigated by the U.S. Department of Education for how they deal with sexual assault cases. One woman says she was raped by 2 men in a fraternity at one of those schools under investigation. UC Berkeley.
I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this to happen, but I want other survivors to know that they're not alone, and I want other survivors to be treated like humans with a valid and terrifying experience.
On Friday, President Obama and Vice President Joe Biden plan to announce a campus sexual assault awareness campaign from the White House.
Singer Rihanna and the CBS television network are splitting up. It's all related to the fallout over the domestic violence incident involving former Baltimore Ravens player Ray Rice. CBS says it's edited a song featuring Rihanna's voice out of Thursday's night Ravens game because of Rihanna's own history as a victim of domestic violence. The network had planned on using the song for future games, but after the singer issued a profane tweet about it, CBS permanently removed it, saying it's moving in a different direction with its theme music. A U.S. senator has threatened to take legal action against the NFL over the Washington Redskins name. Washington Senator Maria Cantwell says she will introduce a bill to strip the league's tax-exempt status because the NFL has not taken action over the name. Native Americans, civil rights groups, and religious leaders say the name Redskins is offensive. But the owner of the football team, Dan Snyder, argues the name and logo are meant to honor Native Americans.
A dangerous pursuit, and we're seeing how one officer stopped a tragedy in the making. A driver going the wrong way, cars and children in danger. Here's ABC's Cecilia Vega.
The bright lights are coming head on. This apparently intoxicated driver barreling the wrong way down this Texas highway. And watch what officers discover in the back seat when they finally stop the car.
He needed to be stopped somewhere or another. This is going to hurt somebody.
It's just the latest wrong-way driver caught on camera.
Oh, my gosh.
This woman in Wisconsin driving the wrong way for 6 miles, nearly plowing into a sheriff's deputy along the way.
You're on the wrong side of the highway.
More than 1,100 people dying each year in wrong-way crashes. When these accidents happen, they're usually head-on and much more likely than other crashes to be fatal.
If you see those lights coming at you, is there anything you can do?
Stay out of the fast lane, stay out of the carpooling, stay in the middle lane. At least it gives you the ability to move to the left or the right.
The real problem is alcohol. One study finding that more than 40% of wrong-way drivers were under the influence. An old problem, but states are finding new solutions. From the simple lights on sign in Texas to the high-tech reflectors in Arizona shine red when you're going the wrong way.
California does that too, I was just saying.
Yeah.
That was ABC's Cecilia Vega reporting. The CHP says most of those wrong-way drivers happen at night and on the weekend. Their advice, be especially alert during those times.
Scary. Up next, why researchers say your sick child may get no benefit from antibiotics.
Plus, a local man becomes one of the first to undergo a revolutionary way to remove kidney cancer, and he's going home the same day. Some startling news about children and antibiotics. New research has found that too many kids are still getting antibiotics when they don't need them. Researchers at Seattle Children's Hospital found that only a quarter of childhood respiratory infections are caused by bacteria, but more than half were treated with antibiotics. Antibiotics are only effective against bacterial infections. They are useless against viral infections like colds. Experts say parents can do their part by not insisting that pediatricians prescribe antibiotics automatically.
Local doctors with a surgery first, a way to operate on the kidney, treat and extract a tumor, all done as outpatient surgery. And they're getting an assist from new robotic technology too. Health specialist Denise Dedore has details on this surgical breakthrough.
The anesthesia wore off about an hour ago, but 62-year-old Gary Fradkin of Van Nuys is already talking about hitting the waves.
When can I start windsurfing again?
It might sound like an outrageous request from someone who just had a cancerous kidney tumor surgically removed, but Gary just underwent something doctors are calling a medical first. Surgeons used high-intensity focused ultrasound alone to destroy a tumor.
This is a significant step forward today.
Gary had 2 initial tumors removed 4 years ago. That surgery took several hours and weeks of recovery. When this third tumor appeared, USC doctors decided the small size and tumor location made Gary a good candidate for this procedure.
Once we can assure good cell kill, good cancer kill, then I think this will certainly take off significantly.
Doctors show Gary where they made the 4 small, tiny incisions to insert the ultrasound probe.
If it is focused in one focus, it has a tremendous energy to destroy the cells.
Doctors say high-flow ablation has many advantages over conventional surgery. Very little blood loss, a shorter surgery time, smaller incisions, and patients can go home hours after the surgery.
It allows you to save the kidney function, and it allows you to do this with minimal blood loss, minimal complications, quick recovery.
Gary hopes he's done with surgeries, but if a tumor should reappear, doctors say he can undergo the same procedure again. In about a week, doctors say Gary will be ready to hop back on his surfboard.
I feel relatively good, except for a little groggy, but I feel relatively good.
Denise Dedore, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
The latest and greatest in electric cars were on display today at UCLA. As the best part, they were available to test drive. The Nissan Leaf, Chevy Volt, and Tesla Model S were among the vehicles available for free public ride and drive. The event was part of the nationwide Drive Electric Week push. It not only features the cars, but also current EV owners talk about their experiences. Similar events are planned throughout Southern California the rest of the week.
In Wilmington, the heat couldn't stop an important ceremony today. People gathered on the 900th block of West Pacific Coast Highway to celebrate the very first Der Wiener Schnitzel fast food restaurant, and they had a special guest.
Oh, look what we have here! Come on over!
What a hot day. What's more fitting than a hot day for hot dogs?
The city of Los Angeles has given the Der Wiener Schnitzel on PCH an official historic landmark designation. The first Der Wiener Schnitzel stand was built in 1961 by the late John Gallardi. The hot dog chain is still owned and operated by the Gallardi family with more than 330 restaurants nationwide.
Are we set for a cool down? Meteorologist Jonathan Novak has his complete forecast up next.
Plus, the Dodgers look to make it 4 wins in a row. Highlights from the thin air of Colorado coming up.
And scenes from the Chihuahua airlift. Pooches from California taking off for Texas as the SPCA reaches an important milestone in its efforts to save the lives of these cute little dogs. Federal researchers are searching for sunken treasures off the coast of San Francisco. The treacherous waters outside the Golden Gate Bridge conceal a graveyard of ships dating back at least 150 years. More than 300 ships that fell prey to the fog and harsh winds are believed to be at the bottom of the Gulf of the Farallones. Now a team of researchers are at work trying to find them. Remote-controlled underwater cameras give them an up-close look.
Every one of these accidents, every one of these sinkings has its own dramatic story to tell. And in many cases, while the participants have long since passed away, questions remain. There are still mysteries left to be solved.
Absolutely. On this ship, the researchers found a 380-foot cargo steamship that sank in 1910. It was transporting goods from China to San Francisco when it struck another ship.
Here's a last look at our weather here in this hour. Jonathan Novak is here telling us about the storms and the aftermath. Wow.
Yeah, well, this is not our aftermath. I just want to start off with some poignant pictures we've got from Cabo San Lucas. This was sent in from actually a friend of mine, Rebecca, who's down there right now, and some really devastating images there in the airport. Looks almost completely decimated. This is an after. I have another shot here for you. This is all from Odile, what went through with winds of 125. The bottom is the airport before, the top is after. So portions of that airport are completely destroyed pretty much, unfortunately, and the people that are stranded right now, they're being airlifted out to places where they can get some transportation. So all the best to that area of the world. Now, for us, we had to deal with some severe weather. Lake Elsinore had some record rain today, 0.13 inches. That did set a record, and you had a little bit of hail, some lightning, and some flooding. It was a rough go, but then things pretty much cleared out, although now I'm seeing a little bit of an echo show up right now around close to 9 p.m. A few light showers, sprinkles around San Bernardino, and what was left of a little storm that fizzled out over the Antelope Valley is gone and out of the picture. So tonight, you might catch a little sprinkle here and there, but overall it's dry, and we're going to focus on the temperatures. Riverside, 111 today. It was a record in Santa Ana and El Cajon, 104, 101. Backwards, respectively. Palm Springs, 104. That's it, 104 in Palm Springs. You were the cool spot, believe it or not. It was 99 in Long Beach. That also tied a record. It was a record-tying day, if you will. Today, a hot one. A lot of 80s now tonight. Actually, a little cooler than it was this time last night, by about 5 degrees. That's what this map shows you. It's a lot warmer in Santa Ana, actually, but everywhere else, about -5 compared to temperatures last night. So already we're on a little bit of a cooling trend. This is all that moisture associated with Odile, which is still a tropical storm, and it will be dying out over the next 24 hours and pulling all that moisture away. Now, the reason our rain chances are going to actually be out of the picture for the most part tomorrow and heading into the end of the week is because this trough of low pressure right here, let's see if my computer wants to cooperate this time. There we go. Now it's a trough of low pressure. That's going to bring an onshore flow strong enough to push that moisture east, and that shunts our rain chances along with it. So we could use a few showers around the mountain areas. We might have a few tomorrow. This is Wednesday at 6 p.m. You see still a little bit of instability associated with what's left of Odile over the mountain areas. Otherwise, dry tomorrow and hot. Then Thursday and Friday, big, rapid cool down. And into the weekend looks really nice before next week's second heat wave. Tonight, maybe a couple of showers and storms lingering around. Otherwise, temperatures in the 70s and then highs tomorrow in the triple digits, but not as hot. We're going to bump down temperatures, I'd say, anywhere from 3 to 5 degrees, depending on where you are. Still around 80 from Malibu to Huntington Beach. 101 in Ontario, 104 Riverside. So that's an improvement right there, and only 101 in Palm Springs. And I say only because we are on a cooling trend. Here's a 7A, LA Metro and Orange County. 83 on Thursday. That's a huge drop. And then even cooler on Friday. Temperatures for the weekend looking A-OK. No rain for L.A. The valleys, i.e. the coast into the valleys, should see some marine layer pushing in on Thursday and Friday. One more day in the triple digits in the valleys, then you're going to be back into the 90s. Mountains looking good. Maybe a couple of showers. They're going to still keep that chance in there tomorrow. Otherwise, after that, it's dry and mild. And then the high desert, hot for one more day. Then you're into the 80s. So just push through 24, 36 hours, and everything will be back to normal for at least a little while. Dallas has more on ABC7 at 11.
Jonathan, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
The Angels clinched a playoff spot yesterday, their first since 2009, but they are looking for more. Right now, they're looking to shrink their magic number from 3 in hopes of a division title. We'll have your full highlights from the Big A on Eyewitness News at 11 p.m. Dan Herron and the Dodgers looking for a fourth straight win, but having trouble in the first when Herron's pitch is wild, allowing Josh Rutledge to easily score from third. Rockies lead 1-0. That lead ballooned to 3-0 in the fourth when Corey Dickerson had the moonshot to the right field seats for a 2-run shot. Herron gave up 5 earned runs in 5 innings of work. Top of the 6th, 6-2 Rockies. LA with the bases loaded. Yasiel Puig at the plate. He watches strike 3 go by without a swing as Blue loses it 10-4. They are now just 3.5 games up on San Francisco. Now to the Ray Rice saga in the NFL. The NFL Players Association has appealed the league's indefinite suspension of the former Ravens running back Ray Rice. Rice was originally handed a 2-game suspension in July under the NFL's personal conduct policy after he was charged with assault following a February 15th altercation in which he knocked out his then-fiancée in a casino elevator. Cleveland wide receiver Josh Gordon, who had been suspended the entire 2014 NFL season, pleaded guilty to DWI today. The reason he did so was to escape a mandatory 2-game ban when the update to the drug and alcohol policy by the league, which is expected to happen very soon. Now, when the new rules are enacted, Gordon's season-long ban will likely be reduced to only 10 games. And finally, NHL training camps open this Friday, and today the Ducks announced the contract of one of their brightest young players. Devontae Smith-Pelly agreed to a 2-year extension with the club through the 2015-2016 season. Smith-Pelly made his presence felt during the playoffs last season, leading the team in goals scored with 5.
Today, the Air Chihuahua Dog Rescue Program flew right into a milestone. The SPCA matches the overwhelming supply of the little dogs here with the demand for them in other parts of the nation. Eyewitness News reporter Mark Cota-Robles was there when the dogs were loaded for their flight.
One by one, these crates are loaded onto United Airlines Flight 738 LAX to Houston. These are the passengers traveling inside, mostly Chihuahuas and other small breeds that are getting a second chance at finding a forever home 1,500 miles away.
There's no need to order more animals online. There's no need to order from puppy mills. If you need small dogs in Houston and we have them in Los Angeles, we'll send them to Houston, and that way they'll get home.
The program, called Air Chihuahua, got started 5 years ago. This morning, a milestone as the 500th rescue dog was sent on its way. Once their crates are loaded, the cargo area is climate controlled to keep the dogs comfortable on their big journey. According to the president of the SPCA LA, the overpopulation of Chihuahuas is part of a social trend in Los Angeles.
Taking Chihuahuas night clubbing and, matching your Chihuahua to your purse and it becoming, kind of a piece of jewelry. We have an overabundance of little dogs here, and in other parts of the country, they don't.
The program is 100% donor-driven, and since these flights started, not one animal has been euthanized, and most are adopted quickly within days of them touching down in a new city. And remember, the SPCA LA is completely independent. It is not affiliated with any other chapter, so when you make donations, your money stays local and then helps programs just like this one. The next Air Chihuahua flight will take off in just 2 weeks. The destination that time is off to Miami. Reporting from LAX, I'm Mark Cota-Robles, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More news straight ahead here at 8:30 and ahead tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7. Did a BART officer slam a woman to the ground? Was this excessive force? Tonight, the investigation. Plus, dancing drama. We have your first interview with the celebrity couple booted from Dancing with the Stars. These stories and all the late-breaking news on Southern California's #1 late newscast, Eyewitness News at 11 on ABC7.
One of the most popular travel websites is out with its list of the best museums from around the world, and one of the tops is right here in Los Angeles. TripAdvisor has listed the Getty Center on 2 of its lists. It's number 2 on the Traveler's Choice Museums in the United States and number 4 on the top museums in the world. TripAdvisor calls the Getty a must-see, noting not only the art but also the impressive views of Los Angeles.
Worth seeing. Thank you so much for joining us for Eyewitness News at 8:30 on LA56. Law and Order SVU is next here on LA56.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com.
That should work. I just want to show people kind of how it works. Hey, Mark, you down for a Facebook quick 15-second video of some sort, like what it feels like?